live from Edmonton, Alberta. Welcome to the Volvo. We got Manitoba's junior Bison taking on Edmonton's next gen. Two solid squads we've been watching throughout the weekend. Thanks for joining in on North Pole Hoops. With you is Tariq Spate. And we've been getting familiar with these two teams. Got some hidden gems that we've been able to learn about. Probably the biggest name right now is Kyler Filowich, provincial team member with Team Manitoba. 6'7", 6'8", combo forward with the ball right now. Number 14 in black, back to the basket, attacking the rim, loses it on the kick out. And back to the top. Three ball, lets it go, no good. Scoreless so far. We're playing two halves. Two 16-minute halves here. Special thank you to Ron Hopkins for having North Pole Hoops in attendance. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to learn about new talent, learn about new programs around Western Canada. We got teams from Alberta, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, Manitoba, as well as California. The next game, which is the 16U Championship, will feature California's Team Blaze. In the meantime, we have Next Gen, a tough-nosed team I got to watch yesterday in the semis, really play with a competitive mentality under Coach Owen. That's Dane Owen, a program on the rise right now out of Edmonton, about 4 years in. Nice attack to the basket and finish. That's by Isaiah Owen, number 23. Next Gen with it. Nice off the ball movement. Good cut right there, and that's one of the things we've become accustomed to, is watching these guys move off the ball and communicate, while the offensive player having the presence of mind on the cut. Nice move there by Filowich. Filowich is an absolute monster in the provincial scene, putting up big numbers in his high school ball. Has been a part of the national program in terms of being on the radar there. Obviously, he's got great size. He's trimmed down considerably since the last time we evaluated him at nationals, or summer games in Winnipeg a year ago. A guy that has the ability to produce on the inside and out, is able to trail on threes, knock those down. Still needs to increase his confidence with that, but definitely a load on the interior, is being recruited by virtually all the top Canada West programs. You know, UBC, University of Alberta have offered. Coach Barnaby Craddock of the U of A was in attendance yesterday. Here comes the Bison on the attack, get him off balance. Nice finish with the left. And one, going to the line for the three-point play. 5-2 early on, 12:52 left in the half. Three-point play is good. With the ball is a player to watch out for out of Edmonton. Learning more about him is Ariel, number 5 in blue, just gave it up. As well as Christian with the ball, number 11 in blue. It's going to be a chess match all game. Both high IQ teams. Nice finish for Ariel, who has the answer on the three-point play. Ariel's a senior out of Harry Ainley. Won a provincial title with Coach George Hoyt, the legendary Coach George Hoyt. Shout out to Coach Hoyt, has been running a solid program at Harry Ainley. Perennial power in Edmonton and Alberta overall. Here's the Bison on the attack. Forced to issue, and good defense there by Next Gen. Here's Ariel with the ball, standing at around 6'3". Does a little bit of everything for this team. Nice pass there on the cut. Next Gen, very up-tempo on both ends of the floor. There it is, force the turnover on the attack. Nice pass, and that's the big fella Christian with the finish. Effortless off the bounce. He's a kid that will definitely be tracking moving forward. 11th grader, 6'5", combo forward, transitioning to the small forward position, but right now is the type of guy that can finish everything around the rim, as you saw there. Yesterday in the semifinal against Calgary Storm, great game. He was a big part of that victory. An ultra strong competitor, doesn't back down no matter who that is. Good on the line. (10-7) early on. That's Filowich with the rebound. I'd like to welcome a good friend of mine, Coach Andrew Skirman, out of Grand Prairie, Alberta, head coach of Achieve, a program on the rise as well. Nice take there, and we talked about Ariel. He can finish with the best of them. Nice attack finish with the left. Coach Skirman, I know you've been coaching in this event, but tell me a little bit about what you've seen. You know, I've evaluated your guys a couple different times, some at the showcase and some over this weekend, but what have you seen so far in terms of the competition and, you know, where your guys are at, where they need to be, and maybe getting a chance to see some of these teams here that we're watching right now?
Being from a small town, or a smaller city rather, in Grand Prairie, competition, we're not facing as much, obviously, coming up in grassroots. We're trying personally as a club program, change the culture a little bit, expose them to the higher levels, more reality based for our program, so that they can see what it's going to take and what they're competing against to get to the next levels, be it CCAA, U Sport, or further. The teams we're looking at right now, we had the privilege of playing against the Bisons, tough team out of Manitoba. Some good sized guards, handle the ball well, very aggressive. Of course, Next Gen, we've had the experience of playing them last year, and haven't played them this year, but a tough program based out of Edmonton as well. They look fairly solid. Some big boys, very athletic, and it looks like going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, you used the word tough. You know, one thing I noticed in watching them for the first time yesterday, just you saw the approach for their team at every position. Guys are guarding up top, really making things uncomfortable for the opposition.
Yes. And
you know, when you see that across the board at every position, you notice that it's not just one player that's talented. It's a culture, and credit Coach Owen for building that culture. You can see it starts from the leadership, from the coaching. Oh, wow.
Nice
Very
basket.
creative finish right there.
Left
really
hand.
like that kid, and I need to learn a little bit more about him. That's number 1 in blue. You know, he was an X factor yesterday too for Next Gen, as they were in the semis with Calgary Storm. Very crafty finish, and early on it's 16-8, 10 minutes left in the half. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the Volvo of Edmonton showcase presented by Swoosh Canada. Welcome back, live from Edmonton, Alberta, North Pole Hoops out here in Western Canada. With you is Coach Andrew Scherman to my left. Nice shot there by Isaiah, and yours truly, Tariq Spate of North Pole Hoops. It's been a pretty good tempo for this game, 19-8 next gen ahead, but I've watched this Junior Bison's program. I've seen them down in the past, and a team that's going to continue to fight and keep running their stuff. A team that's been together for a long time, so the chemistry is there. That was Wasai Tariq with the finish. Here's Isaiah Owen on the floater, no good. And one thing you mentioned, Coach, is the getting to the next level. You know, for every kid, that means something completely different.
That's
so
right.
For your kids coming into the bigger city here, Edmonton or Calgary, they're getting to see where they need to be,
Yep.
and then how far off they are, or maybe if they're superior to others. And then these kids, they need to see where they stack up in the province as a whole, and then in the country.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate, you know, your perspective coming at it and seeing the different levels locally here.
One thing I always say to my boys, nice
Good
shot. One thing I always say to my boys and my girls in my new program, we're not impressed by regional success.
Yeah.
End of the day, it's a very small piece of the puzzle, and these are young athletes, and they should be striving to the pinnacle of their sport. Whether it comes out to be at the highest level or not is irrelevant. But the main thing is that they're focusing and they're striving to be
the best they can be.
The best they can be, absolutely. I mean, it was probably I was probably almost 18 or 19 before I start accepting the fact that I may not play in the NBA. Right. You wanted to push and push and push, whether that was, you know, you can't listen to the people that are laughing that they're not doing it because they're not chasing the same dream.
And that's stuff that, well, a lot of people don't understand, and I think a lot of the veteran coaches in the game can appreciate this. This is all translatable skills to life.
100%.
Beyond basketball. If you're
100%.
if you're striving to be the best that you can be as a basketball player,
Yep.
100% of the time, when you get into the work mode and you get into whatever it is, whether you're a plumber or a lawyer,
spills over.
You're trying to be the best lawyer that you can be. You're trying to be the best, you know, construction worker you could be. So it's a mentality, and that's one thing I appreciate being out here, is getting to see kind of where Western Canada stacks up with Ontario. Where does Ontario stack up with the States?
Right.
And where does Canada stack up in the world? Like that's kind of the thought process. Here we go on the attack. It's my man Ariel. You know, he's been one of the best prospects I've seen in this tournament so far, and he's just really sound on both ends of the floor and aggressive. He knows where he wants to go on the floor, and he gets there consistently. Defending right now. Good block.
Defense,
You see him on defense?
Yeah, he recovered quickly.
Right on cue, making me look good over here. Making me
Good
look
finish.
like I know what I'm talking about out
Right?
here. That's a good finish on the other end. 25-13. Next gen keeping the pressure on the Bison. Definitely look like a more athletic team that want to run and want to cause havoc defensively.
They are. We saw that the other day. They run. And with the size that they have, that's gonna cause problems for teams not getting back on defense. Even if you are back on defense with the size, they're able to get to the rim and cause more problems.
Yeah, so contrasting styles.
They're
Junior
another big
Bison seem to be more of a team that wants to play in the half court. Got some size that not necessarily thoroughbred guys that are gonna baseline to baseline speed, but guys that want to bang in the post. And I want to see Kyler Filowich with the ball here. I want to see him aggressive. I want to see him take advantage of his size,
Right, good size boy. I was just about to comment on that. Another thing I wanted to mention with the mentality within our region specifically. I mean, we're in that day and age, unfortunately. It's not across the board, so to speak, but a lot of the participation medals and everybody this, everybody that gets this, that, the other. The reason and our format with Achieve basketball in our program was to let all the kids know day one, minutes are not guaranteed, and it's such as life, right?
Right.
Everybody doesn't get the job. Everybody doesn't get the same pay. There's a hierarchy, and the people that earn that receive that, and there should be no different with sport. If I don't study for a science test and I get a 0, I get a 0. They're not going to give me a B just for showing up, or an A for showing up. So it has to be both sides. It has to translate all the way through everything in life. We can't just start giving these kids things because we're crippling them, and
that's a great point.
And allow them to earn it, and to face the realities of this might not be for me, or right. I mean, there is fun. There's the enjoyment aspect of the sport, but your driveway is great for that. The park's great for that. It doesn't. You don't necessarily have to be chasing an elite program. Yeah. There are fun leagues, and that's fine. That's great. But for the kids that are trying to succeed and trying to further their career or use basketball as a tool to get into school, we have to appreciate and respect that, and surround those kids with like-minded individuals. Yeah, it's as we talked about the different levels, it's exactly what it is. One thing for sure is that there are kids that love the game, and they just might not be a 6'7" athlete. That's true. But they want to maximize their potential, and right now, Next Gen is maximizing their potential at 28-13 lead. Kick out to Isaiah Owen. I want to, give a thank you to Coach Ron Hopkins of Swoosh Canada. Does a really good job of running this event. So over 150 teams. As someone that's run events before, not of this size in terms of quantity, but running the CNIT, I know how difficult that is, and I know how much that goes into it. So I appreciate the organization, like you said, and just to have the trust in North Pole Hoops to bring us out to help these kids get exposure. We're gonna have Coach Hopkins, where he's gonna join us here at halftime to kind of learn a little bit more of the history of the event, as well as the future, where he wants to take it. So shout out to Coach Hopkins, and we're back to the action right now. 28-13, 6 minutes left in the half. Kyler Filowich, almost called him by his mom's name. She's the coach there. Definitely a disciplinarian and is tough on their team. And everything's earned here with the Junior Bison. It's a great program out of Manitoba. One of the largest, if not the largest program in the province. I'm looking forward to learn more about these kids. Here's Next Gen. Defense to offense right here. Oh, Filowich called for the foul, and Next Gen to the free throw line. I'd like to see Filowich down inside to see what he can do with his footwork and with that big frame. Yeah. I know the game has changed and evolved more of the perimeter style. You can't count out those interior baskets, though.
Not at all. He seems, watching him yesterday early on, he seems a little fragile, running up and down the floor. It doesn't look like he's taking full strides. Right. I know he's been, recovering from different, injuries, different things like that, and getting 100% healthy. He does, I mentioned this earlier on the stream, he looks slimmed down from last year. I saw them at the Canada Games. So you could tell he's been working.
Oh, he was on Team Manitoba last year.
Exactly. I mean, he's, if you look at the big fella, and as we're talking about him, we definitely want to see him really dominate this game. He's a unique type of player. If we look at his background a little bit, he comes off a high school season where he was named the Manitoba Quad A Player of the Year, was rated #1 in the annual coaches poll.
That's big time.
You know, he's consistently been
There
able
he
to.
is with the steal, almost.
He needs to recover now. That's a frustration foul right there, and he's got to be more solid mentally to get back. That was a gamble. But as we go continue with his resume, you know, if you look at some of these numbers, it's just pretty impressive. You know, dominated the paint, averaged 32 points and 18 rebounds this season.
Big numbers.
Leading the Vincent Massey Trojans. Lost to the provincial final.
Heard that school name a few times in my day.
You kind of see, you know, me as the outside looking in. You know, I'm not from Western Canada, but I do learn about these programs, and you see them always pop up consistently.
Vincent Massey's been around since I was at Brandon back in '98. That's a school that's a perennial.
And that's like just a matter of consistency and a matter of care for basketball and athletics.
Absolutely.
And, you know, while we're on the broadcast here, I did want to tell our viewers to look forward to some special things happening within the province as far as the National Preparatory Association.
Yes.
We just made our announcement. Edge School, private school out of Calgary, will be participating, making it the third Western Canada team as we continue our Western Canada expansion.
Alberta's first.
You know, right now, Andrew, what it's going to be able to do, what I'm most excited about, is get a chance for the community to see the quality of play locally. With teams from all over the country coming in now to the Albertas and into the BCs and into the West, and talk about those levels, right? Because in some cases they'll find that, in some cases teams and kids will find that they can actually compete at the highest of levels and sometimes excel or even beat these teams. But it becomes a confidence and mentality thing. I see it all the time when you know, a kid will come into the national team tryout, for instance, and they're not used to the speed or the intensity. But as they make the adjustment, they see, oh, I can bang with these guys.
That's right.
And then you've seen the Emmanuel Kotz of the world, the Ahir Ugwak, so, you know, Edmonton kid.
And you called it
what's that?
2 summers ago with Akot heading to Arizona.
Yeah.
And mentioning he would be a point guard potentially at next level. And, I mean, sparing minutes this year, just the rotation was tough. I picked up a few games just basically because of just meeting him in Winnipeg. And he's
got work to do still, though.
Absolutely.
Talk about levels. That's the highest level. That's the NBA
100%.
factory.
And, you know, that's a conference that school has pumped out countless NBA players.
Potential number one overall pick this June. Oh.
That's right. Shout out to Lindell Winnington.
Yep. Nova Scotia. Yeah, the Nova Scotia plug there.
Trying to get us our first Nova Scotia born in the league. Got the whole province backing them.
It's huge. You know, Liddy's a kid we've been, you know, had in our system since 8th grade. Remember first seeing him in the East Coast Showcase back in 2011, I believe, or 2012. It was just a kid that didn't care how small he was. At the time, he was maybe 5'6".
Right.
Didn't care how small he was, just competed at a high level. And, you know, that's the X factor, is how are you going to compete every possession, whether you're up 30, down 30.
How hard are you willing to work?
Absolutely.
How bad do you want it? I know how bad he wanted it when I saw that dunk.
Oh,
that was on the highlights.
I know what you're talking about.
Everybody knows. Oh, mercy.
ESPN top 10 there.
Slammed to the ground. He was up high.
Good defense here by Next Gen, just swarming. Absolutely.
Swarming. Stole my word.
32-15, you got Next Gen, you know, really expanding on their lead. But it'll be interesting. It's a good test of character here. You know, talked about toughness. How tough are the junior Bison? Are they going to flop or are they going to continue to compete?
Good
nice.
Feed.
Nice.
Good feed.
This kid, I like him a lot. It's Ariel. Provincial champ, Harry Ainley. Talk about perennial powers and consistency. I'm learning about Ariel a little bit more from yesterday's game. A lot of his action was was taking place free throw and in, finishing around the rim, rebounding, whatnot. Now you're seeing him on the fly, making plays, and that's what I figured. You know, he's at around 6'3". You know, for the next level, he's gonna be a guard.
He is.
And he looks the part. You know, he just needs to continue to get lower to the ground because he's so athletic. He's got a nice first step and burst. As he continues to, you know, get lower to the ground, he's gonna be able to really finish at the next level. You see how upright he is right now when he's dribbling?
Knees bent. That's something I've said probably a million times this year. Bend your knees, get your backside down. You can't play standing straight up.
The Volvo of Edmonton Swoosh Showcase presented by Swoosh Canada. We're live from Edmonton, Alberta, the Seville Center. I've said it, I've questioned it before, and I'm going to say it as a statement. This is the best basketball facility in the country. Every time I'm out here, it's just amazing to see how big this place is. And when you look at the actual court, but then you see the balcony and just the ability to host multiple games, tournaments, camps. That's what we need more of across the country. We got the Hoop Dome back in Toronto, but not even close to this size.
No. 14 gyms here, 13 gyms?
Something like that. I think maybe more. They also have the U of A.
That's right, where the main gym.
The Bears play.
It's air conditioned in there, I might add.
Key, very key. Nice finish there by the big fella. That was Donald Stewart on the finish, and they needed that badly. It's 14 points. Still early, a lot of time left in the game. 2:25 in the half.
The level of competition has risen a little bit this year, I find. Of course, last year, our roster completely different. But the competition has come up.
As expected, you know, the game's just growing and new clubs are forming consistently.
Yeah. Wildfire is growing. Good feed. Call with the travel.
Coming up next, we got the 16U finals. That's the Junior Bison versus the California Blaze. That'll be an interesting dynamic there. Team came all the way from California, and they made it to the finals. Really strong Junior Bison team at that age group as well. You see the consistency across the board.
Who we faced yesterday.
Tell me a little bit more about them. You got that insider.
Names are eluding me. Guard play, like I said, that was the team I was commenting on until I caught up with who I'm watching right now. I realized that we were U16 here. Good sized guards, handle the ball, they push very well. Get to the rim, look to get to the rim on the run early and often. Very aggressive. Some good shooters as well. But all in all, athletic, good size guards.
We're going to give you something for Instagram. There's Coach Skirman, Achieve Basketball, Grand Prairie represent. And yours truly, Tarks Bait, North Pole Hoops. That's the Seville Center we're talking about. Show you on Instagram.
You know me, I have to point out Grand Prairie via Nova Scotia. Always got to put my plug in.
Nothing wrong with that.
Bisons have tightened it up a little bit here. A 10-point game. Be interesting to see the coaches' adjustments in the second half. Early in the game, it was strictly run, and they've bottled it up a little bit more.
You saw Ariel there go with the floater, but the second jump and effort to get his own rebound and draw the foul.
Off the ground, high and in a hurry. Second jump. Oh, next gen really pressuring the ball now.
And they're gonna need some three, but big shot right there from Luke Cardine, and they needed that. They needed that outside production just to open up the floor for them a little bit. Big shot there to cut it down to 8 points. And what do you think they need to do, Coach Sherman? What do you think that the Bison need to do to really close the gap going into the second half?
They're doing a really good job right now, putting more pressure on the ball. We talked about it earlier, the ball handling and players playing straight up. They need to start playing knees bent and down more on defense here. The Bisons do to continue to slow down this explosive next gen team. I'd really like to see them get the ball inside a couple times, specifically to the big fella there.
Yeah.
He's on the bench at the moment. I'd like to see what they can get that going there, maybe draw some attention, and that'll free up your shooters with some inside out if they have to respect that post presence.
That was Isaiah Owen. A nice pull-up Jimmy mid-range.
Here's an opportunity.
There's Owen there with the rebound on the attack. Nice look. There's three.
Still with it. Still with it.
That second effort. 10 seconds to go in the half. They're going to set it up right here. Aerial to the corner, 3 ball, no good. And that will be it for the half. We have a 12-point ball game. Next Gen leads the Junior Bison, Edmonton up on Manitoba here at the Volvo of Edmonton Hoop Showcase, presented by Swoosh Canada. Stay with us. We will shortly have event organizer Ron Hopkins here for a little interview on the background of this event.
Yet again, a 10-point advantage restored for Team Blue. Oh! It's Judy Charges throwing it down!
Welcome to the NPH Live Broadcasting Experience.
This tournament is a Volvo of Edmonton Swoosh Canada basketball tournament. I call it the granddaddy of them all. And basically what it is there's 150 teams that play club basketball. This tournament can be considered one of the highest tournaments that you can play in.
Welcome back. As promised, we have Swoosh Canada, founder and organizer of this event, the Volvo of Edmonton Hoop Showcase, Ron Hopkins. Ron, as I mentioned on the broadcast earlier, thank you for having North Pole Hoops out here in Western Canada, in Edmonton. We've really enjoyed this tournament. We've found a lot of new hidden gems on these teams and learning about the programs. I want you to take me through this event, talk a little bit about the history and how it kind of came about.
You know what? I've been doing this. This is my 6th year, and we started out actually with a company called Amazon Springs Water. It was about 60 tournaments. Then I got lucky, and I had a kid on my team whose dad was the owner of Volvo,
right,
and decided that it was a good thing. Thought that I was doing some good stuff, and thought that he would help me out on bringing the level up by having a great name. He thought he would help me bring it up by, we get in the paper, and he sponsors those things. So Volvo of Edmonton, yeah, we really appreciate them. But, I started this out as we always go to the States to try to play basketball. There's not a lot of quality tournaments in Edmonton, and you feel like you're always going somewhere else to play basketball.
The traveling, yep.
Yeah, and so we're trying to bring in some good teams. I'm lucky I have some good friends with some good basketball teams. Next Gen, Dane's a good friend of mine. We've been hanging out for a while, and he actually started in my program, but he won't tell you that. But you know what? It's pretty cool that you can balance on somebody and make your own way. So our tournament is just one of those things where we're trying to grow and make things happen.
Right, definitely. And as we watch, what's one cool thing that I like about this event is getting to see the diversity and programs from all over the place. You got Western Canada heavy, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. We're watching Edmonton versus Manitoba matchups.
Yeah, you know what? This year there was 30 Manitoba teams, and you know what? That's huge for a venue. Trying to do a lot of stuff, getting a lot. I wanted a lot of diversity. I love having the teams from Edmonton because we do have some good basketball talent, but it's actually cool to see some talent from some other places. Try to see, I've been going on the trip that everybody else goes to California and Vegas for about 30 years. Most people didn't know it was around that long, but I've been going that long, and every year you start to see more programs develop. You see kids get better opportunities. They all want to be seen. But this kid with the ball, he's pretty nasty, that's for sure. He's got some definite skills.
This next gen program I mentioned is a program on the rise. They got some really nice athletes, but back to the leadership with Coach Owen. He really has instilled a level of toughness. These guys are piranhas. They get after it, and right now they've been up and they've been dominant against this Manitoba program that's really, really strong in its own right.
This is I think the number 2 team, Manitoba, and the number 1 team is actually U16. They're coming up next. But Dane, Coach Owen, he's got a program that I would be pretty scared of if I had to play. And his kids are young. They can all come back. They could play one more year if they wanted, and I bet you they will because he went down to the States last year and he did his thing.
Oh wow!
This kid right here, he's stuck. He's stuck in he's in Morinville, and
small town there.
Small town. If you playing him as a 1A team, you probably should move out of his way because he's gonna try to dunk on you every time. And puts in the work. Dane works these guys hard. He gets a lot. He gets a lot out of them. 23 is Isaiah. That's his boy.
Nice
superstar
prospect.
Point guard.
Nice prospect. He's on a 3-ball. No good. So.
But he still took it.
Ron, I want to get back to also talking a little bit about what the future holds for this event. I know it's massive in terms of the size, and I always talk about the Seville as being a venue. But can we expect is it more about quantity at this point, quality, a little bit of both? What's your vision?
You know what? I get stuck because I'm a really nice guy, and I get stuck in trying to everybody thinks I have 152 teams because I wanted to have a big tournament. They don't know that I'm having 152 teams because people call me and it's like, can you fit me in? Can you fit me in? And you and I both know sometimes when you're really nice, you shed some quality. And so we're going to tell this back. We want to be in one venue. It's easier. I'm actually have to go to another venue and talk to some people. And rightfully so. They need to see my face. I need to be there, and you can't be everywhere at once. I know you do that because you got big stuff on the road. And I want to take this to a level where we have guys like you coming out, televising, and there's quality people here to see, right? I've always been that guy that I didn't want to. I'm not trying to battle with people. I just want a good product, And and if you have a good product, I'll be a part of it. Yeah, he's got some hops.
A couple bunnies. Got a couple bunnies.
He's got some hops. They try to get out too.
No, that's really good to hear. This is an event where you get to see a lot of hidden gems, and that's why as a scout. I love being out here to see that. People say, hey, you're in Edmonton often now. I'm like, hey, anytime we can be out here in the West Coast, it's big for us.
Well, you know what? I think that as a basketball program in Edmonton, we need to try to understand recruiting. Right? Because, I know it happens everywhere, but you have too many kids thinking they're going D1. Right? And some kids can make it D1, like, that Mr. 103.
Right? Ahmed Ali.
Yeah, he's D1 now, but he didn't start off there, but he put the work in, right? And that's how it goes, right? like some people don't understand that the fight is to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, you know, we're a program that I just want to build. I want to have a good product, and I want to try to do something great every year, right? And so, you know, I'll take this, you know, and figure out what I'm doing.
Right.
It's amazing. I was showing my wife just now that we were on YouTube. She was happy about it. And you know, I remember we had the conversation, and I know you knew how excited I would be once I saw it.
Yes.
And I am. It's like seeing you guys here. You guys did your thing. I appreciate it. I do.
Yeah.
And I know you and I have some stuff we had to talk about, because I think we can grow the event, right? Like,
for sure.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to say anything. I just want to grow the event, and I'm looking at how you and I can do that together.
For
That's
sure,
all I'm saying.
for sure. I mean, the thing about for those viewers that are listening and watching right now, as after this game is over, you know, we're going to be able to circulate this content to college coaches across the country, in state and Canada.
Fair enough.
It's as soon as it's complete, it's archived on North Pole Hoops on the YouTube, and someone can watch it. The coaches can relive it. It's a really basketball. We talked about it with Coach Sherman a second ago. It's about life experiences.
Fair enough.
And this is what these kids are never gonna forget this.
No, they're not. And I'll tell you right now, this is about as nationally as these kids will get. Right? I mean, we have people that put stuff out there, but it's just not as big, right? You know, I'll have to tell you right now. You know, I'm crazy busy, so I'm gonna have to let you go.
Yeah, no worries.
I have some stuff I gotta get going on. And it's a quality thing. I'm really trying to add some quality to it, and I know you guys are at another step of prestige. I really appreciate North Pole Hoops being here.
Thank you. Once again, Ron Hopkins, appreciate you having us here, and we're excited. We got the next game, 16U, the Blaze out of California,
Clayton,
taking on Bison.
Clayton, California. They got some killers on that team.
Can't wait to see them.
I'm gonna try to get back for it, because the Bison, they just won a tournament in Minneapolis.
Right.
So they ain't afraid.
They got that resume behind them right now.
They ain't afraid.
Coach Hopkins, thanks again for having us and joining us. We're going to get back to the action here. And for those of you tuned in right now, do not miss, right after this will be the 16U championship game, Blaze versus the Bison.
That's right. Yeah, level up.
Level up.
Level up. Try Swoosh. We got you covered. You know what I mean.
There you go. You have to throw the plug in. The plug is necessary. Swoosh Canada stepping it up for sure right now. And the Bison are going to need to step it up. It's 53-39, 10-27 left in the game.
And he's got a lot of fuel on that bench, that's for sure. Hey, I appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for joining us there, Ron.
Hey.
And we're going to do a substitution. Coach Sherman will get back on the mic shortly. In the meantime, we've got Filowich struggling there around the rim right now. And one guy not struggling, constantly attack mode, is Ariel, the 6'3" guard for Next Gen, beasting right now. Looks like they called an offensive, not sure what that call was, but 14-point game. Another 3 there from Luke Clark. Dean missed it that time. Excuse me, that's Luke Cardinal. They're gonna need some more 3 balls, the Junior Bison, to get back in this game. Up top. And they're gonna call a moving screen. Next Gen basketball. Liking this team's depth. A couple different guys that could step up, and help the starters gain some rest. Kick out, good ball movement. Ariel back out to the 3. Keeping the defense on their heels. 3 ball is good. Number 1 in blue, I see you. Really has done a good job on both ends of the floor in the last 2 games that I've watched. And here is the substitution. Andrew Skirman back on the mic here.
A little slow getting back from my sushi.
Oh, wow. Sushi here at the Seville Center, top notch. I had some yesterday. 58-41, 9 minutes left. Since you left, Coach, you know, much of the same in terms of dominance, in terms of next gen, keeping the pedal to the metal. Their offense, their tempo has not changed a bit.
Opened up the score a little bit here. 17-point game. Allowing the lead to get that much bigger makes it difficult to try to go with the inside out game plans.
Yeah, this is a non-stop team. I'm interested to see where they stack up in the big picture as far as province-wide. I know there's some really good programs, and there's another really good event taking place this weekend with the Genesis Classic. So I'm sure these clubs will meet at some point throughout the summer. See if we can get these boys here next gen at the CNIT, Canadian National Invitational Tournament, July 20 to 22nd. Opportunity for them to test themselves against top teams from around the province. 19-point game here. Next gen still defending. Coming up next, once again, it's Clayton, California's Team Blaze taking on the Junior Bison in the 16U Championship. In the meantime here, still got Ariel doing work. You're seeing him in the mid-range, moving off the ball a la Rip Hamilton of the Detroit Pistons, showing that the mid-range game is still alive and well here in Edmonton. You don't see that too often in today's game. You see a lot of three or to the rim opportunities, whereas, you know, I always tell kids, take what the defense gives you, and that's what Ariel did on that last play. It's really refreshing to see guys get it in the middle, in the crack, and confidently shoot it in the mid-range.
It's read and react.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, the game has definitely gone to three ball or dunk, if capable of dunking.
And I think analytics has sort of dictated that.
Yes.
Saying that it's a better percentage-wise, but
that's right.
I just think there's just so many intangibles that analytics can't read when it comes to taking what the defense gives you and reading and reacting.
Another good take by Ariel.
He's beasting right now.
He
could be the MVP of this.
He has taken this game over both ends of the court.
And they'll have a timeout. We'll take a quick break. 64-43 next gen. Really stepping on the throats right now of Manitoba's Junior Bison. They got work to do.
Rep by rep. You push yourself. Effort is only half the battle. Doubt sets in. Why do you do it? Is it worth it? The lights turn on. All your questions are answered.
Everyone has their story. And we are back live live from Edmonton, Alberta. North Pole Hoops in the house. Got my man Andrew Skirman to my left, representing Nova Scotia and Grand Prairie, Alberta. Joining us later on the broadcast for the Women's Championship game will be Coach Mandy Bottom from Grand Prairie. She's the head coach of the Wolves, doing a great job over there, building the program. That will be later on at 4:30.
Matter of fact, Sophie Leslie, guard of Chief Basketball, will be joining her next season.
Excellent, keeping that local talent.
Great shooter, great shooter. Last couple of years, she's really stepped up late coming into the game. Student of the game, very hard worker, great competitor. I look forward to working with her and helping raise her game while she's at GPRC as well.
How did your Achieve girls do?
We do play for the bronze at 3:30. So we had a tough battle this morning against the Calgary Storm, another big program, top 3 I'd say within Calgary at least. Very, very good, very well-run program by Tony Tan. They were tough. We just lack of experience at this level so far. Our first year of having a girls program, U17. So look forward to that expanding and growing and becoming more competitive as the year goes and years to come.
Great to see programs developing, club programs across the country, small regions, big regions. There's talent everywhere. There's a genetic pool, some stronger than others, but fundamentals across the board. Here's Isaiah Owen with the 3. He's had himself a pretty good game, a top 3 player on this team.
Tough. Big fella pushing it. You say genetic, it's also genetic and environment, right? It's what you're subject to and what you've been exposed to coming up, as well as obviously physical genetics.
It's nature
pedigree.
and nurture.
That's right, 100%. As you put a lion in captivity, I mean, he's still a lion, but he's not as vicious as the one chasing the gazelle.
Right.
Right.
That's a nice, nice analogy there. A good way to put it. And that's just a situation where, you know, you are your habits.
That's right.
You know, if you're putting in a tough environment growing up, you're going to develop toughness to be and do everything
100%.
you want to do. If you're coming from a scenario where you might be handed things, or you didn't have to earn things, or you know, it's just a roll out the red carpet treatment, then guess what? It's you know, when the things get tough, you're more than likely going to break. So
100%. If you've never been hungry, you don't know what to do when the time comes to hunt. You know, and that's indicative in sports. If I hadn't had to do the extra work to play, then I don't know what it's like to do that, to work.
This next gen squad looks like, you know, they're really hungry on the floor, and
they want it.
You could tell.
Moving the ball crisp.
They're up big, but they're not.
No.
They're not losing a step.
No, they're not.
They're not getting down. They're not, you know, getting too high on themselves. Not too low, not too high. They're just composed.
Maintaining that pressure and, like I say, ball movement. I'm impressed with the way they pass the ball. The velocity behind the passes is a big thing. Lazy passes and things. That's indicative of your practice habits and your environment. If that's allowed where you're from to happen, you're in a world of hurt when you come into the programs playing against teams that are playing at that level, because you're used to your soft passes getting through. They're not going through at the elite level. Very well coached.
Less than 5 minutes to go. We got a 20-point ball game. As we see in the corner, Team Blaze awaits their competition for the 16 championships. See if the junior Bison program can redeem themselves with the 16 division. Thanks to everyone for tuning in on North Pole Hoops. For everything Canadian basketball with the latest news, I encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms at North Pole Hoops across the board. And definitely you want to hit that subscribe button for YouTube. Lots going on throughout the country. We're excited to be really expanding into the women's game when it comes to exposure. Got our women's national scout, Michaela Richer. She's out there with the team in Windsor as we speak for the Windsor NPH Showcase. We got our circuit going on across the country, and we'll be back here in Alberta and in Western Canada in mid to late August. Kids looking for exposure and just really getting a measuring stick for where they stand. Highly encourage you check out the NPH Showcase circuit there as we have the Finnish next gen continuing to do work right now. And their bench is filling in nicely as well.
Next gen have completely taken control of this game. Desperation time for the Bisons at this point.
You know, you looked at that last game, semifinal game with Next Gen and Calgary Storm. It was like it went down to the wire, and it just shows you, you know, how good that Calgary Storm team is as well. They have some sleepers. Like they have a kid that I found. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Number 1, Beal. Thao Beal is a 6'5" combo guard, wing type of guy, multifaceted, national team watch guy. Yeah. You know, so for those watching, you get understanding of how we can help at North Pole Hoops is, you know, I'm getting this guy into our system and making sure that he's got eyes on him in terms of college and national program. He's only in grade 10, so he's got a lot to learn and a lot to grow, but getting him into the system is huge to be able to track his progress. He reminds me of a younger, kind of the same sort of breed of a younger Man Yang Tong, who's a senior now there at Calgary, or even Emmanuel Lecoq-Mold, you know, where he's long-limbed, he's athletic, he's still obviously got a lot to fill in from a muscle mass standpoint, but he can one thing I really enjoy seeing is when you got a size, length, athleticism coupled with the jump shot.
Yes.
That's what you don't. You obviously see the freak. You see a lot of times the freak athletes that don't have a jumper, or the highly skilled guys that don't have the athleticism.
Right.
But when you combine both,
that's today.
We're talking high major basketball level.
That's today's dual threat.
Yes.
Right. To be able to shoot the long ball, as well as run the floor and get to the basket. Manye Tong, as you mentioned, that's one of the kids that he stood out. And again, another one of those kids found through Showcase. A few summers ago in Calgary, he was top prospects.
He's been involved in the system since 8th grade. What we're excited about now is he'll be a headliner for the Edge Prep School in the National Prep Association.
That's
so now he goes from
local kid too.
The light being shined on him in the summertime, but then it continues throughout his school season on a national stage.
That's right.
He's gonna do big things.
Lacombe was well known at school. I believe that's where Manny.
Shout out to Father Lacombe.
So, again, local kid, great for the Edge program in Calgary. Having a local talented kid on the national stage.
Yes.
So that's great for the program, great for him, great for the NPA.
And then you look at the games that are going to take place. Also, some of the local games where Calgary basketball community is going to be able to invite and welcome and see talent from all over the province at the prep level.
100%.
And that way it's just a growth, it's a true growth opportunity for everyone involved, right? See where everyone stacks up and continue to get better, compete on the floor and respect each other off the floor, you know what I mean?
I compare that to, obviously a lower scale, but I compare that to the same feeling when the Raptors came came along, I mean, the nation opened its eyes and really embraced the game, and how much basketball has grown simply since the Carter
effect.
You know, the Carter effect. I watched that
the documentary,
a few times the other night on Netflix, and incredible just to see what it's done for the sport in Canada. And you know, I really respect and appreciate what North Pole Hoops is doing on their side of things.
Nice, Coach.
Trying to help grow and develop our youth and expose them to opportunities that maybe they didn't think they had, and to be able to bring those top players together to see what you got, to see what he's got. And
one thing I want to say on that note, Andrew, is we really are about bringing people together. We're not able to do what we do without the support and the communication and the relationships we have with the club programs, with the provincial bodies, with parents, with kids. You know, it's all about, they say the old saying, right? It takes a village to raise a child.
100%.
That has to be the mentality that we hope can grow across the country, where, you know, we get it. There's competitors, right? There's people competing with each other, and that's fine. That's healthy. But in terms of the dialogue, to really collaborate, to grow, that's the only, like, you can get to a certain point alone where you can maximize your potential alone. Then you hit a plateau.
That's right.
Then you have to really extend the olive branch and build dialogue and collaborate to do something even greater.
That's right.
You know,
what's it about? It's about the kids, right?
If we could,
the players.
I say this, and for anyone listening and watching, 3 things with North Pole Hoops, and I think any organization that is really about the kids. We put it in 3 things. First, the kids, then the game, and then business/organization.
Right.
In that order.
That's right.
You put those 2. You put the first 2 first, and then we could take care of number 3. But what happens sometimes is that in some cases 3 is put ahead of 1 and 2, and then you limit your growth.
That's right.
That's the language we want to talk, and that's what we want to collaborate. The type of people we want to collaborate with. Again, we want, you know, shout out to Coach Hopkins bringing us out, believing in what we can do to help provide that exposure piece. And just look, getting to see a team like Next Gen compete. These kids, a couple of these guys, we're really gonna get into our system. You know, make sure, you know, you look at number 23 here guarding the ball, Isaiah Owen. You're looking at a 6'2", maybe 6'3" combo guard, right? He's got his length, he's got the size, he's got the skill,
energy.
And now I'm comparing him to an Ontario kid or a BC kid or a Scotia kid that, you know, there are differences, but really the game is the same. You know, you develop your skill set, you work on your weaknesses, and you maximize
your craft. Yeah.
It's just amazing to see, you know, as I see it across the country, the similarities and the patterns that develop. You know, you learn over time, year in, year out. You see patterns that are developing, some that are positive patterns and some that aren't positive. And you know, we just want to make sure that these kids understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Follow the blueprint, get into the system.
That's right. We've spoke on this before. What I would have done to have an opportunity like some of these
for you
kids,
when you were playing,
like
absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So I feel that's part of my duty now is to make sure that these kids are aware of the opportunities out there and how to take advantage of those opportunities for personal.
Well, you look at yourself. You look. I'm sure Coach Owen and Coach Filowich, everyone here. Like, you're talking about people that played the game and now are not giving it back to the game and taking their experience and putting it on to the kids, the good and the bad, right? And telling them to look out for the bad and how you can improve. So there you have it. We have our first champions crowned here this weekend. Next Gen 17U program takes it over the junior Bison. Impressive victory by Coach Owen and Next Gen, and definitely a team we're gonna have to continue to track with some next level guys on this roster. Congratulations to them. We will take a short break and be back for the 16U division as the junior Bison take on California's Team Blaze.